Welcome back to another episode of Genius Days. Today we're talking all about, wow, just burnt myself on my incense. That's a fantastic way to start. Uh, we're about to start talking about love flow, right? The relationship mastery and the flow state of love. And this is a very, very important topic because I believe that love is the ultimate flow state in a sense where we can't really describe it. Poets have tried to describe it for millennia, philosophers have tried to describe it. So many people try to describe this thing, and it has such a polarity to it that everybody has their own interpretations of it. And I think that as we all come together and give our own interpretations, we'll slowly start to create more of a map around what exactly is this love thing, and also what are the feelings associated with this love thing, like the neurochemistry, like oxytocin and all of these other things that just come into it. Quick disclaimer: don't break any laws of the land. Obviously, um, if you share this, let people know that where you got this from, and yeah, just be smart. Just be smart. So anyway, let's get started right away. What comes up for me is the idea of engagement and presence. If you're trying to watch a movie and someone's, chewing really loudly next to you, or like, throwing popcorn at you, it's quite difficult to enjoy that movie. So just like when we're engaged with someone that we really love and we get distracted by other things, or we break that engagement or that bond, it's the same kind of feeling. We start to enjoy that relationship less because we're less engaged, right? So what the flow state of love is that frequency of engagement where you were so in tune with the other person, like you refer to it as attunement, right? Your frequency is matching their frequency. And so once you're coming from that place of love, we could talk hours about this topic, but what comes up for anybody as we mentioned this topic of the flow state of love?
I think it's important that we distinguish between the bullshit that is put out and portrayed as love and what truly is love, right? Because if you have real love, you can achieve basically anything in the world, and that will 100% come to you, right? Whatever it is you want, they don't teach this in finance schools, but if you radiate love, you're going to get clients. You're having trouble getting clients, radiate more love, right? They're not going to tell you that, but this is the truth, right? And because love is a powerful force that is above everything. It is an untouchable force. And if you are radiating love, you cannot be touched. Your energy, you're protected, because it's the opposite of fear, right? And what you fear, you give your power to, right? And so, like a lot of times, like just to give like a paranormal example, people who have ghosts come into their house, they're like, oh, get out, right? And the ghost like, and they start making more shit. They start making fucking more shit up, right? But like every time if a ghost comes into my house, which has happened, I'm like, all right, you can chill here, but just don't make a mess. Yeah, I'm not gonna try to force that anything out. Like, I'm not scared of you either. You can chill here. You're interested in knowing what's here, right? That's fine. I'm protected because if I don't fear it, then I can't give my power away to it, right? I mean, I just want to start off saying this. What's coming up for you guys?
I like what you said. I like what you said. The whole rant on using love as as your primary weapon, almost, to move yourself around the world. That's some cool shit, man. and how you went about the story of the ghost. The ghost could have also been a random stranger. The ghost could have been a random animal, you know? And in what you said, I've managed to, also what I'm looking for, find, I might not like it, but it doesn't have to be a problem. The moment it becomes a problem is the moment I'm almost cutting off my blessing, right? Because how often do we not deal with, negative bullshit in any relationship, be it our business relationships, be it our relationship with our family, our lovers, or whatnot. But what if, that problem doesn't affect us in the same way? What if we treat the situation with a little bit more love, a little bit more understanding, right? To lubricate, to ease our way into a better solution. What if that was the same for your business, for your life? Who knows? Guys, what's coming up?
Love, 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 love. Where is the love? Black Eyed Peas say. What's Tina Turner say? What's love got to do with it? Love is the most beautiful, natural, erotic, powerful thing that money can buy. Look, there's like real love, and then there's all these wacky ideas about what love is. And, I love you, but what shall we do about that? Like what decisions do, like there's this difference between having a feeling and like the life decisions you make as a result of it. And we can make some pretty shitty decisions based on this feeling of love. I love someone dearly. She chose crystal meth, She contacted me and said she wanted spiritual healing, but I'm not sure if that's like real spiritual healing or is a manipulation. Love can be used as a manipulation, unfortunately. Okay. But when a man and a woman, in the relationship of relationships, when a man and woman are unified and harmonious with God in the center, they're unstoppable. Like love of man, love of woman, love of God together, those forces can, cause kingdoms to be created. Some at the center of the kingdom is a king and a queen who love each other. And so when we partner with somebody in the framework of love, we can create empires. Grant Cardone and his wife Elena Cardone wrote a book called, I think it's called Empires, and it's about how a man and a woman together can build that empire together. So love is a beautiful power thing. It's the most beautiful power thing that money can buy. I'm gonna leave it at that for right now.
This is an awesome conversation already. I think that there's so much on this topic that if we can come back to understanding the flow state angle of love, right? Like how it just takes our focus completely, right? Like when we're in love, we're just completely blinded by everything else. It's just about that object of our desire or our love or person, right? And it starts to become addictive, right? It starts to become addictive rather than connective, like connective tissue or something else, right? But it becomes something that we give our power over to rather than understanding the power of it and then actually co-creating with it together. So I think it's important to, first of all, differentiate attachment and connection. And we have these phases of relationships where it can start out as one-sided or codependent, then going into completely split off or like independence, and then sometimes there is that interdependence that forms after a while too. So it's important to understand that a healthy relationship is that interdependence. It's symbiotic, right? It's not like, oh, like my friends are their friends, my interests are only their interests, like that. It starts to skew this idea of what love is. And Eskimos have like thousands of words for snow. I wonder why we don't have thousands of words for love. Because puppy love is different from romantic love, romantic, you know, and I think the Greeks have different words for it, but we never really introduced that into the English language, I don't think, in terms of that. And a lot of people overlap love with other concepts, right? And that starts to become a problem. Like someone will overlap love and sex together, or love and money together, or you know, love and trust together, and that starts to cause like a deterioration, because it's like, really love is this thing by itself, but when it starts to get enmeshed with these other concepts, like it really starts to skew our idea of what it can be or what it is. And of course we have Disney, Hollywood, Bollywood, you know, coming in and giving us all these imprints of what it should be, right? Hallmark trying to make a business out of it, like, you know, Valentine's Day, and all of these different things that are just coming along and being like, yep, this is the way it should be, right? This is the framework of love that you have to follow. There's one soulmate, you know. There's only this thing. You can only ask people out on dates in this particular fashion, right? And so it starts to form the constraints around what we think is really possible around it. I love that background change, Joe. Thank you for that. Yeah, so that's what's coming up for me.
Yeah, I like this idea of like using love as a state that accelerates the flow state. I love that. You know, and I think that being in that Christ-centered love is the healthiest love, that God or that high, you know, it's like divinity. You know, we're going to talk about this in a minute, you know, me and you, Sumo, on our podcast. But, you know, I think a lot of people confuse the sex-centered relationship or the drug-centered relationship or the let's make money together relationship, as opposed to that higher spirit consciousness where you're tapping into, you know, like tapping into it, like universe, like God is flowing through me. You know, everything I touch, every person I touch, you know, there's a scripture that says he who is in service to his fellow man is in service to the Lord. You know, there's two commandments, you know, the attorney was talking to Jesus Christ saying, you know, how can somebody get to heaven with all these commandments? Nobody can keep all these commandments. And Jesus said, hey, it's real simple. Love Heavenly Father, love, you know, God the Father with all your heart, and love your neighbor as yourself. Love other people. Like, and if you just love God, if you love source and let source flow through you, and you actually use that love to make other people's lives better. I think when we can make somebody else's life better, when we're serving others, we're bringing humanity together. It makes us a better person. It makes them happier, and it's serving God. And you know, there's a song at church. It's, you know, like God is happy when there's love at home. Love at home. This idea, look, we live in a pretty crazy world. We live in a crazy world. And so when you come home, there's this opportunity for your home to be sanctuary from the world. It can be a nest of love, you know, where you actually are creating a space where you love your spouse loves you, you love your children. You create this environment that, like, no matter all the craziness in the world, when you come home, you know, it's that oasis of love. And if we can create that, or even a fraction of that, I think we're on the right path. And that creates a flow, like a flow, mind, spirit, heart, you know, as Vince Kevin would say, it would be like soul, heart, guts, and balls, you know. Like when we can let love, you know, impact all of those areas and emanate like that, number one is it pleases God. Number two, it pleases ourselves. Number three, it really impacts others in a super positive way. And in a hellish world, that's the beginning of creating some little semblance of heaven on earth.
all comes down to relationships for sure. And everything is a relationship, you know. Um, Relationship to your parents, relationship to your teachers, relationship to, you know, your girl. And so I want to talk about specifically the kind of romantic relationships, which tend to be our most intimate relationships. They tend to be the places, the kind of person that we allow into places of our of our of our body that we don't let other people explore, places of our mind, places of our shadow that we don't let other people explore. You know, truly, whenever you are in a deep and loving relationship, what will occur as you begin to grow and experience and release traumas is, you know, you want somebody that can hold space for you, that is not going to judge you, right? That is not going to tell you to think different, right? You're going through something. Oh, you should think this, motherfucker. Don't you fucking think I thought about that shit? Do you think I fucking wish I'd be like this? I'm trying to process. Let me fucking process, right? And so it's like, you know, people, you know, that's kind of annoying. You know, people tell you don't be sad, and you're like, motherfucker, if I could not be sad, I could have fucking done that shit already. Thanks a fucking lot. You know? Oh, geez. Oh, fuck. I didn't think about that shit before, man. Oh, then this is why I had this conversation. No. You know? And so definitely, you know, let's see, me and my girl were almost, you know, 3 years in. For about a year and a half, we were long distance because of the laws and bullshit and coronavirus. Right. That's why I made her move to Mexico now. We're a little bit closer now. And so, you know, how do you keep a relationship alive and continue to feel like you're growing with each other and like not going on dates and stuff like that? You know, not seeing each other in person, right? But through the sheer intimacy of communication, right? It all occurred through communication being our channel which connected us. All right. And so let's take this. There have been times where like I was really going through some shit, right? And Pamela, she just held space for me, right? I wasn't trying to change my experience, just understanding, the sheer understanding, right? And that is so important, right? When you are understood, right? When someone understands you, you feel more connected to them. If someone doesn't understand you, look, check this out. Not just on some basic bullshit. If you're having a communication with somebody and you haven't, and they're like, huh? And you repeat yourself, uh-huh. And you repeat yourself, huh? That throws the flow state off. It throws the communication off for the sheer fact that they just didn't understand you. They didn't hear you, but it still fucks with the communication. It makes an interruption, right? So that understanding, communication are very, very big. And so, like, well, one thing that you can do, like a practical thing that you can do is say, so if I'm understanding you, right, you and then you repeat back to the person so that you make sure that you know that you understood them. And if they know that you understood them, they're like, damn, he got me. And a lot of times all you got to do is repeat back what they said to you. You know, that's literally it. So if I'm understanding correctly, you said da 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 da, right? And if you say it literally just like that, something is going to click inside of their mind. Literally, if you literally just repeat back to them what they said, it don't change up the words, don't put it in your own words. Literally say dun 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 dun. They're gonna be like, yes, they got me, right? So that's one thing that I do in my own relationship, for keeping understanding. One, we have to understand each other at all times. We have to understand each other at all times. There is no such thing as no one understands me. If no one understands you, that's your fucking fault for not having clear communication. right? And communicating a lot. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Not hiding anything, you know, that could be important, right? To myself. If I'm hiding it to myself, if it's important to me, it's important to her. If it's important to her, it's important to me, right? And yesterday I'm at the store, right? My girl, she's learning Spanish. I'm at the like the checkout area. I'm waiting in line, and there's like these books. There's like a rack of books, right, for bilingual, and they're like to teach kids about like Spanish and English, right? They're like $1 each. I got my girl 5 books, right? So it's my problem and it's her problem, right? And if she learns Spanish, then it benefits me too, right? So we're like just constantly, it's like my life is your life in a way. We're moving as one, like, you know, although we're also moving as individual beings through our own separate path, right? I still have to take into account my steps as I go, as you know, I'm not gonna go, like I have to take into account how my decisions affect this other person, right? And that is very important, you know, because it would be kind of like if you like put yourself into the perspective of like a kid, right? Just for a second, you know, just for this example, right? And it's like a kid living, and the parents are divorced, right? And the mom, she just be bringing hella dudes to the house, not even giving a fuck about what the hell that kid is thinking or whatever. Like just in that, she, of course she's enjoying herself. What are you gonna say? Oh yeah, don't enjoy yourself. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, you have to take into account like what this other person is experiencing, because now they're one with you and they can't do nothing about it.
Without losing your identity.
Exactly.
That's the real challenge, I think. You know, one of the things that makes us spiritual beings is this idea of free agency. And when your girl asks you a question, and not necessarily you, Alejandro, but when your girl asks you a question, we need to have the free agency to say yes, and we need to have the free agency to say no. And if we say yes, 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 and we never say no, you know, I think that I've learned a lot about women when I say no to them and how they respond. If they throw a little tantrum, like they love me when I say yes, and they really get pissed off when I say no, well, that's not love, because now I'm just your little puppet bitch. Okay. Like, I want to be loved with my no's as well as my yeses. Okay. And I might have reasons behind those no's, but you know, you need to stand up and say like, hey, let's take a trip to, Syria. Well, no, like we're not going to Syria. Okay. It's kind of, they got a lot of problems over there. Okay. Well, I want to go to Syria. Well, like, like you need to respect my no. And it's like, I love you, you love me. And like, I care about you enough that I'm not going to put either of us in harm's way. So this idea of agency and the ability to say yes, the ability to say no, and the ability to be loved regardless is super important. Because when we become yes men, I think that one of the things that happens, hey honey, can you do this? Yeah, you put it on the list. Hey honey, can you do that? You put it on the list. And there's this idea of the honey-do list, and all of a sudden you got 50 honey-dos and you're burdened. And I think that love is not about burdening each other. I think love is about lightening each other's loads. There's this other side that, it's like, accepting people for who they are. So I don't think relationships are about tolerating each other. I think they're about celebrating each other. And if you feel like I'm tolerating this person and just putting up with their bullshit, that's really not a healthy, loving environment. But if you find that, yeah, I know all of your weaknesses, and let's celebrate this journey together, that's a healthier love, and it's a healthier flow.
For sure. If someone's being toxic, you gotta be like, I mean, we all go through times where like, we're not fucking perfect, and sometimes we lose it. We lose like track of what's really important to us. and we can let our emotions get the best of us. That's real. For anyone. Even fucking Osho, the motherfucker was at the top, and then motherfucker went all the way down to the bottom. He went all the way down to the bottom, straight up. And so, like, and then the nigga died. And so, like, there are times we have to, like, if you have to be so self-aware that when you're being toxic, and you can't be in denial about that shit.
Well,
Right?
and toxic is not the only, toxic's extreme. There's good, better, and best. Like when you make decisions, it's like, let's do this. Well, that's good, but this would be better. And wow, this would even be best. And so it's not about toxic and healthy. I think sometimes our decisions need to be about good, better, and best. And making the
Yeah. Except
wisdom.
I'm talking
One more
about
piece here.
I'm
Wisdom is
talking
the
about
ability.
something different.
Yeah, wisdom's the ability to make the best decisions possible at any given time, and mediocre decisions, but I think there is a connection between these decisions and how that manifests the magnificence of the relationship. Do you treat your relationship like a relationship, or do you treat it as sacred? I love this person, I'm in relationship with this person, but and this relationship is sacred, man. That's like next level.
Yeah. But I was actually talking about not necessarily about decisions, but more so about awareness of how you are feeling and how that is affecting you. Because, like, I mean, there'll be a lot of times where, let's just say, maybe my girl, she's not having the best of days, right? I'm just like, okay, I'm just gonna leave you to do it, to like figure that out on your own. Like, sometimes that's what should be done. Sometimes it's not about holding space for somebody. Sometimes it's about just letting them be in their own space. They need their own space, right? And we need to, like, understand when it is important to say, okay, you go be by your own time, and this is now time for us to discuss about this, right? And a lot of times, there not even a lot of times, just there have been times where I'm like, okay, we're not moving forward until this gets resolved, because this is gonna bleed into everything else, right? And so, like, in a relationship, there will be problems, challenges, right? Now, depending on how you deal with them, that'll either keep you or push you out of flow state. Uh, you guys here have girlfriends or married and stuff? No.
Nah, bro.
What about you, Joseph?
Young hero?
No, it's just me.
It's just
All
you,
right.
young hero. You got
Just me, bro. I got out of a year relationship in July, but just me right now.
okay. So are you guys interested in learning more about relationships, or because, like, from this topic we can take it into different angles, and what are you guys more interested in when it comes to this sort of topic?
I had this download of a quote not too long ago. You'll hear me say it a lot, but I believe that God is pure love. However, his fan club can be a little weird sometimes. Okay. Uh, God is love. We are his people. He loves us. We're supposed to love him. A lot of people do love God, but the way they express it sometimes can be a little weird. And so there's a difference between, the spirit of God and the practice. And I think the purpose of religion is to bring us closer to God. There are practices to bring us, but there's a lot of, there is such thing as true religion, but there's all kinds of wacky false religions. I think one of the reasons people are down on religion is because they've witnessed so much false religion. But false religion is not true religion. And true religion, I believe, will bring you to God. It'll bring you to source. It'll bring you to flow, and it'll make your relationships better.
Awesome, Joe. So yeah, back to the question of what we can kind of go and focus this topic around. Would you guys like to know more about relationship mastery, flow around, attraction, around, love in general? Like what's coming up for you guys in terms of topics?
Here's a topic that came in mind just now. Remember when we did the reality writing program, right? Always have to
Right.
get a shameless plug in. Um, one of the subjects that we went over was, what would your ideal love life look like? And then we simply spread it over, in 6 years, in 50, 40, whatever. We could turn this into an interesting workshop and specifically focus on that, and thereby reveal the constraints.
Mm.
That would be an interesting one.
Yeah, one question that's coming up for me, which I think is important to ask ourselves, is if I valued myself 100%, what would my relationships be like?
Yeah, what would happen is um, you would be bringing the best of the best around you, and the people that are toxic or are unhealthy, those people would go more to the outside of the edge, because if you value yourself, there's no room for the unhealthy, and there is a lot of unhealthy in the world. And if you value yourself, you're gonna, I had a neighbor, and he said, like, the secret to the universe is this. And I'm like, what's this? I thought he was like getting sexual. It's like, this is a circle that represents everything in your life that's important to you, like your relationships, your family, the empire you're building, and this is the container of love. Okay. And he says, this is the most important thing. And there are a lot of things that want to attack this beautiful thing that you're creating. And you need to have like turrets and guns around it to like be vigilant to protect this ideal that you've created. And the big challenge, and this is what he said, Joe, your problem is you've like lit people into the inside that will destroy your kingdom from the inside. Okay, so when you value yourself and have, at the highest level, you need to protect from the outside, and you also need to protect and not let the enemies come within, because your kingdom can be destroyed from the inside and not just from the outside. So I don't know, Sumed, did that get closer to answering that a little bit?
Totally, yeah. It's one of those like questions to ponder, that leads you to take massive action and like change some stuff around. Because yeah, when I asked myself that question, I was like, hey, like, yeah, I would definitely not tolerate certain things, right? I would definitely like change um my situations around more fluidly, right? And that's closer to flow. So I think the value is definitely closer to having, yeah, like you said, that circle of things that you're really valuing, and understanding that yes, this is my circle of control. Anything outside of that, if I try to control that, it's like that's like the basis of stoicism, right? It's like we have this circle of control, and anything outside of that, it's like when we try to focus on that, that skews us off balance. So yeah, I think that's very powerful. And a lot of times it helps to have a relationship framework that you create, like authentically and genuinely create, and not like, someone else decides it for you. I think that's another way to really decide that, okay, what are my desires, what are my needs. And um I think Pam also wrote something in the chat. Ivan, do you want to read that out for us, for the audience?
Yeah, so my girl typed this out. She said, personally, I believe love is pure love. Personally, I believe pure love, is nothing to deal with meeting someone's needs. Needs are needs. This is just toxic behavior if someone is getting mad whenever you say no to them. Clearly not respecting boundaries. This is conditional relationship. Love is love. And that is true. That is true. And I think if you came out of a relationship, and I've been in, relationships and been through a lot of bad ones and a lot of breakups.
Relationships and relation trips.
Yeah. And, you know, you have to take into account, like, you know, what did you tolerate? What did you not tolerate? You know, what, you know, where should have you set a boundary that you didn't set a boundary? At the end of the day, it takes two to make a thing go right. And you only attract what you are, you don't attract what you want. And so, you know, your relationship at the same time is just a reflection of you, you know. And this is why I love you know, relationships, because I use them for personal growth. I don't just use my relationship for the sake of, you know, being with somebody just to fuck or whatever. Like, this is like a personal growth mission, you know, and your partner is going to be a direct mirror of who you are, you know. And so they're going to reflect everything that you're going to reflect your toxic side, they're going to reflect your bright side, they're going to reflect back you know, what you like, what you don't like, right? And they're going to physicalize the internal world that you're experiencing, you know.
I got a question. What are the landmarks of love? What are the milestones? What are the things that let you know you're on the right track? And what are the things that let you know that you're straying off the path?
I think if you feel good, you know, if you feel good, and
My
if it's
girl
like,
takes crystal
and
meth.
it's like,
She
but
feels
it's
good
no,
when
no.
she
See, that's the
does. Is
thing.
that it?
No, no. I came up with the quadrant of discernment, right? Which was one of the things that I said was, if it feels good now, but it doesn't feel good later, then it wasn't good. But if it feels good now and it feels good later, then it was good. You know, and so
Sometimes it doesn't feel good now,
yeah,
but
and
it'll
sometimes
feel good later because you're putting in the work, you're paying the dues. There's no immediate gratification. I think this ability to defer gratification to create something bigger, you know, when you pray to God to move the mountain, don't be surprised when he delivers the shovel. That's his expression of love. So it may take a lot of work to move the mountain. There may be a lot of toil and sweat, but in the end, you've accomplished, you know, moving the mountain, and you can feel good about that.
that's true.
You mind if I do a quick insert right here because I had a very fast download. Are you familiar with the story of a man's wife was sick in India, right? But in order to go from his village to the city in order to help her get to the hospital, they had to go through a mountainous area. Now, the bad news is they didn't make it on time. And of course, the man went crazy. He couldn't take care of his kids. The kids went to, family, etc. But then the man decided, you know what? I can't be the only one who's suffering from this mountain, this ravine, this whatever. So just as Joe said, if you want to move the mountain, don't be surprised if God gives you a shovel. Well, he looked for that shovel, that pickaxe, the donkey with the cart, whatever, and decided to start his project. People got inspired, people knew of his story, and the story slowly spread. All of a sudden, they made a road, and finally this village is properly connected through the hospital. His only regret was, I wish I started sooner. I wish my wife could have survived this. But in this story, we can see, a problem doesn't have to be a problem. A pain doesn't have to stay a pain. But it is how you respond to it that makes a difference. And what I really enjoyed on what Ivan said was, a relationship is not just for the sex. It's not just for the days, the fun stuff. It's for, in his case, a purpose to keep evolving as a man. I mean, a man without challenge is going to become a dull blade at some point. You need the challenge. A warrior needs to fight. A businessman needs to keep looking for business opportunities. And if he gets a no, let's figure out something else or move on to the next opportunity. Keep moving. Ivan, Sumit, your thoughts.
Yeah, I think that describes the flow state of love, to keep moving.
Keep moving.
Sure, man. Like, yeah, I think this topic can go many different ways. So I'm glad you shared that story, and I think that there is something to that, the way we respond to something. You know, I've noticed in my life when I've been trying to really categorize relationships, specifically when I was younger, I noticed that I didn't want a serious relationship. I wanted something sincere. And a lot of people, they get into relationships when they're younger and they're like, let me get what I can get. It's just like the mindset of just like, I don't know, like I just want someone, I just want something. And I think through that exploration phase, or like trying to figure out what is that thing, that spark. I mean, maybe you felt it, maybe you haven't. It's not exactly like how a movie describes it, like love at first sight, like slow motion. It doesn't have to be like that, I guess. But I think it's more in the nuanced moments and the little moments that it starts to build. Um, Dr. Barbara Fredrickson, she talks about how love is like micro moments of connection, right? And so if you can keep stacking those micro moments, that's when it starts to build into love. And instead of like looking at it like this end all be all state of like, uh, reaching the infinity of love or something like this, if we can just look at the little moments that you create together and maintain that, I think there will be that all-encompassing vibe around that relationship, because love is such a powerful state that it has a very strong emotional charge to it. And that's the thing. When something has a very strong emotional charge, the pendulum is going like this. So something with a very strong emotional charge can also quickly slip into hate if we're not aware of the middle path or the neutrality. Right? So the wise man took the middle path. So he could decide that, okay, I can go from hate to love. I can jump around from these two frequencies where there's a very strong. Have you ever had people where they're always positive all the time, and then one negative thing happens and they just go, whoop, they get crushed down, right? That's what I mean by the strong emotional charge. So love has a very strong emotional charge like that. So if you can actually calibrate with love and actually build these micro moments of connection, then that's when it really starts to build. And I think our most natural, purest, most genuine space of pure awareness can neutralize it. But yeah, that's what came up for me.
You talked about love being a state. I've heard people say love is a verb, and the verb of these micro connections, the moments of connection. I love being in love. I love the idea of love. The concept of love feels really yummy. One of the things that I think that love can be a catalyst to put you in a flow state. Like being in love, in that state of love, puts you in kind of a flow. But my question is this, I hear a lot of people say, oh, relationships are hard work. Relationships are hard work, and it's like, that doesn't sound like love. That doesn't sound like flow. It sounds and I mean, you want to put the work in, but when somebody says relationships are hard work, it almost feels like they're coming from a toxic place of like, it's not worth it. Or Sumed, I mean, to me, it seems when you say love is work, that's opposite of, or relationships are work, that's the opposite of like, this relationship is these moments of connection where it puts us in flow, and it doesn't feel like work at all. It feels like bliss, you know, and obviously we can't be in bliss all the time. But my question for you is, how do we transform this idea that relationships are work into relationships can be a catalyst for love and bliss, and creating a life that like lights us up, and you know, and we can be in the flow state a lot more than not.
Hmm. Yeah, I think definitely reintroducing this idea of play, right? Because I think as adults we forgot to play. We always associate play, adult play, with like sexual stuff, right? Whenever we think about it, but we, you know, we just lost touch with that ability to just improvise and, you know, play with things and just, you know, get creative. And so I think for that deep, meaningful relationship, you start to disconnect from it, or you stop communicating, or you stop having conversations, or you kind of just, you know, you ghost the other person. It just kills it. It just fades it away, you know, eventually over time. So I think from the micro moments of connection, that's when it can pick itself up again. If something has ran its course, it's just like it's dependent on the last string of communication you have with that person, you know. It really does. If it left a bad taste in your mouth, it's going to cause a bad taste in your experiences as well. And so when you can leave something on a golden note, like a symphony that ends like with a beautiful crescendo, I think it does something to our psyche, um, where it doesn't have to have this like dot 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 question mark effect in our minds, where it causes us a lot of upheaval, a lot of stress, I think, rather than, you know, work can be enjoyable, you know, work can be fun if we truly do something that we're involved in, passionate about, immersing ourselves in. But if we're kind of half-assing our work, you know, it's uh it's not going to give us that fulfillment because we're not engaged with it.
Yeah, I mean, that's now you're in my wheelhouse. Do what you love, share the love, receive the love. You know, this is really, I think, my masterpiece is really transforming people so that, you know, I hate my job into I love the work I'm doing. I bliss out on the work I'm, you know, I love contributing to others. You know, I'm using my superpowers. Um, you know, I think a lot of people are not unemployed; they're underemployed, and they're doing stuff way, you know, that they have so much. And I found there is a direct connection into doing work that you know, using your talents like fully or more fully, um, actually creates this love. And you know, being in a relationship where you actually like make each other better, because the math of relationships is 1 + 1 = 3 if you don't use a condom, but 1 + 1 is 11 when you synergize. Okay. um but that, I think there is a connection between our talents, our underutilization, our talents, our full utilization of our talents, that puts us in a state of bliss, like like in your career, but that like that overflows into your relationship. Like you can love another human being and be really amazing for each other, but like you don't have the money thing worked out. But if you're blissing out on your money thing, like, and you bring that to your relationship, it's like that's not an issue. Like for so many people, they break up because of money issues, but like that's not an issue. Money's not an issue. My career is not an issue. My boss is not an issue. And that gives me the freedom to be fully present with you, my partner. And getting your, you know, the biggest inhibition of love is not having your shit together. I'll pass it on.
I want to make a few points on specifically relating to relationships. And so, one, treat each other like gods, worship each other, both should worship each other. You know, we compliment each other like crazy, like, but when we say it, we fucking mean it, right? We whenever we're having intimate time, our touches are like if we're touching heaven. You know, and that's one thing. Just that's because it's deep, deep gratitude. You know, like I'm almost about to fucking cry kind of gratitude. Like for each other. That and that way, because the way she shows up in my life, the way that I show up in her life, right? If you show up, like just real quick, you show up to somebody, right? And you don't have get the gratitude, then you don't want to show up again. You don't want to come to a fucking job where you're not treated right, or they don't appreciate your work, right? And so, through the deep, deep gratitude, it's like, I love you so fucking much, and I really appreciate everything that you do for me, right? And that makes her want to show up in my life more, and that makes me want to show up more and be more of a protector. That's one point. And the second point is you guys have to be entertained by each other. Like, because entertainment is engagement and fun and play. Like, it's like these three things put together, right? And so, like, me and my girl, we flirt a lot. Like, even still till today, like, we'll even pretend, we'll pretend like to do like scenarios or whatever. Like, you know, we'll just start off like acting out, like, you know, like if I'm in a coffee shop or whatever, or something, you know, like just play, literally just playing, or like we'll get into like we'll get into roles, right? Where we're acting out, you know, and I go along with the role. I go along with the thing, you know, we're playing this fake scenario, like, you know, who cares? You know, it's fun. It's fun to play, right? But we also have to be like really entertained by each other. Like, I have to find her really fun. And like, for me, I really do. Like, some just hearing her talk for me is like fun. Like, I like that shit. There are like times we're chilling on the phone, right? And because right now, you know, she's in Mexico, I'm here in USA now. Up until, you know, until, you know, she's gonna come live here when she gets approved by the government, right? So, you know, we're on the phone a lot, and there'll be times where we're on the phone, but I'm busy, I'm doing something, and she's doing her own thing, right, or whatever. But we're still like there, present with each other, and then I'll just start doing something, singing, being myself, making noises or whatever, and my girl's like, she'll be like, my radio. She calls my radio, her radio or something, you know. And she's like, I'm always entertained by you, right? And I was like, yesterday I was like, entertained. I was like, what do you mean entertained? You know, just like messing around. And then she was like, but she still answered it. She was like, yeah, but think about it. Would you still like me if you weren't entertained by me? And I was like, damn, I guess that's fucking true, bro. Like, because the entertainment makes it something separate from you that you want to be engaged with, right? And see, what it came down to, what the realization was like that I had after that. I started piecing things. So I was like, well, we want to be wanted. And two, we want to want. Inside of us, inside of her, she has the want, she has a desire to desire me. And if she doesn't ever, if that stops having that desire to desire me, then that's when relationships go like lame. Whether like we're just in it for the kids type shit, you know? And so that's very interesting. Like, I'm gonna say it one more time. Like, we have a want to want that thing. And that's what keeps the relationship alive. That we keep wanting. And I keep learning more things about her still. Because we're just multidimensional beings, right? But we have to be comfortable expressing that multidimensional self. And you know, our identity is flexible, you know. And so if we stay stuck on one identity, we're limiting our growth, right? And sometimes you're gonna have to play new identities to expand your state of being, your beingness, so that you can continue to grow and expand and you don't stay stagnant, right? You know, your essence is staying the same. That's not changing, but your identity, that changes. That's very changeable. And so who I was at the beginning of this relationship is not the same who I was 3 months during the relationship, not 1 year during the relationship, not 2 years during the relationship, and same for her. She's not the same person. She keeps changing and changing. Her identity is different. She looks different. She dresses different. She talks different, right? And we have to move. We have to evolve. This is so important in your relationship. You cannot be the same person. You cannot show up in the world the same. If you're started the same and leave the same, then I don't know. It's kind of bullshit to me. But yeah.
Love is a flower. Love is a tumor. Love proves that God has a sense of humor.
Good stuff, Joe. I love that. I love that. But, you know, Mark Manson says that, you know, honesty is the best aphrodisiac. And I agree with him. I agree with him, you know, because when we're lying and we have this kind of like thing in the back of our minds, like we're trying to impress someone, like my greatest moments of deep love have been from those moments of like vulnerability and intimacy, where you share a secret with someone, or like, you know, when you go through something really enriching together that you can't compare to anything else. Like those moments that just stop you and just like, you know, like I just remember the times in my relationships that we were doing stuff that was kind of a little bit taboo, you know, like having sex outdoors or shit like this, you know, or like those are the moments that stop time. That's the flow state of love, you know what I mean? And I think that love or relationships are spiritual work. So it's the deepest spiritual work that you can do when you're with another person and they're revealing all your shadows, and you're gonna have to deal with those shadows, whether that's a golden shadow too, like your hidden talents and things like you were saying. So when we're seeing those things reflected back to us, it's actually our own subconscious mind telling us that, hey man, you need to heal this. You know, these are issues that are coming up for you as a mirror so that you can work on this. And I think that through the layers of transformation that you were saying, Ivan, like you're not the same person that you were in the beginning of the relationship and then the middle and you know, and so forth. So I think it's definitely important that our character evolves as the lover through different time periods where, you know, sometimes there will be changes that happen, right? I remember once in my past relationship where, you know, it was more long distance, then we moved closer to each other, then it was like, you know, she got a job and that changed the dynamic, and then I was out of work, and then we both got work, and then it's like all of the changes happen in our life, right? And we have to adjust accordingly based on all of these different scenarios that happen. And so I think when you're in that flow state of love, you become adaptable. You become, as you know, this poster says right above me, to be shapeless, formless, like water, like Bruce Lee says, right? And once we can have that experience of sharing that container of positive energy with each other, and at the same time understanding when there are different moments that happen that take you out of flow, right? And really taking care of those, because those can be, like Joe said, like a crack in the moat or whatever, right? Like that's when the toxicity or whatever comes in and you don't take care of it or you glue it back together. That's when like issues can start stacking. And I think gratitude, like you said, Ivan, too, is a great one, because when you can stack your gratitude, it really starts to melt the dissatisfaction that you have. So yeah, you're like stacking it, right? It's like, oh man, fresh air. That billboard says something funny. You know, oh, that tree is waving to me. And you just stack it. You just start stacking it, stacking it, stacking it. And after a while, you just start feeling good in that relationship. And relationship, right? So we've got to relate to each other in some way. If there's no relation, it's like it just becomes a ship. That ship might as well sink, man. You know? So we've got to find a way to have that sense of connection, whatever way possible. Of course, we don't have to be like, oh, she says she likes dogs. Don't people please and be like, oh, I like dogs too, and you're a cat person. Like, don't do that. Absolutely not. But what you can do is you can find the common threads and you can piece things together and not have this mentality of being a fixer. I used to be stuck in that mentality a lot. Like, as a man, you want to be a protector and a provider, right? So you come in sometimes like a firefighter, like, you know, go, go, go. It's time to get rid of the problem. Get rid of the issue she's having, you know? Let me solve it for her. But what she needs in that moment is just someone to listen or be an echo chamber and hold space and not necessarily come in with the band-aid and just like solve it for her. Like Ivan was saying it in that other example, like I think that's very, very important to recognize that males and females have very different communication styles. And when we can understand that there is a difference in that, and we can come from these two different planets of Mars and Venus and be like two astronauts that meet in the middle somewhere, and like we kind of visit each other's planets once in a while. Like maybe you meet her girlfriends and then you go back out into space, and then she meets your guy friends, and then you float out back into space, and then you're in this liminal, like, you know, transitional like space time thing where you're like exploring stuff like that. I feel like is a powerful way to impact a relationship. But yeah, that's just some downloads coming in for me. What's happening for you guys?
You know, the easiest thing in the world to do is to love somebody who's being lovable. And one of the hardest things to do is to love somebody who's being unlovable or talk, you know. And this is maybe one of the hardest lessons in Christianity, is to not only love the people that are sweet in your life, but to love the stranger, to love the unlovable, to love the Hitler as a child of God. I love the person, the spirit, but I hate the behavior. And that is a tough lesson to learn, to love people, not only love people who are being lovable, but to love people when they're being monsters. You don't have to like what they're doing. You don't have to hang out with them, but you need to have some part of your heart that cares about people that are going through hard times or they're disconnected from their sense of spirit. Loving people when they're lovable is easy. Loving people when they're being unlovable or monsters, and it's not about what you do for them or anything. It's about finding that place in yourself that is capable of loving not only the light, but the darkness. You don't have to like connect with the darkness, but loving the person with whatever the shit's going on with them. Loving lovable people is easy. Loving people that are monsters is not. And yet that's what we are asked to do. From love God, love your fellow man, love your neighbor, even though they're going through battles, even though they're, you know, and boy, that's a tough one. But that's what makes us better spirits ourselves.
Yeah, and the reason that you would want to love those that are difficult to love is because if you can do that, you can go through any challenge and be in appreciation of that challenge. All right. One of the things that I personally tap into is my inner father. I'm not a dad yet. Doesn't mean I can't be a father. And so when someone's going through something, I'm not this person anymore. I step into this other world where I see everyone as my children, right? And when someone is doing something wrong, or doing whatever thing that is just not in proper alignment, the way I see it is like they're hurting inside. Like if someone says something mean to me, it's like you're hurting inside. If somebody breaks my shit, they're hurting. Like you hurt my things, but only because internally inside you feel so fucking weak, and that you feel like this is the only thing you can really control. Right. And knowing that people have been hurt and treating them as such, because whenever they're doing non-in alignment things, internally they are not in alignment. And so if you hold your alignment, it'll be much easier for them to hop into that into that alignment. For one, literally, it's like they're gonna borrow your nervous system, right? Now, like, you might think it's weird, for me to be like, or for you to be like, oh, my children, right? But actually, like, when people get really old, right? We all know that feeling of an old black lady calling us, oh, my baby. You know what I'm saying? Oh, come here, baby. You know what I'm saying? When an old lady grandma calls you her baby, you're her fucking baby. You're like, oh, thank you so much. You really appreciated it. And a lot of times you don't even know these people, man. Right? But that, in that essence of what is she portraying? She's portraying a mother, right? But we are men, so instead we hold the space of the father, right? And a good example is Jesus, right? You can act just like Jesus. You can tap into the personality of Jesus. You can tap into the essence of Jesus, right? And Jesus would see things like from the place of knowing, and from the place of he knows who he is in God's name. He knows what his purpose is, right? And whenever, and that purpose being of like for humanity, right? So when we are in the father mode, we step out of all other archetypes. We step out of the achiever, because the achiever is going to try to be right. You step out of the I don't know, people pleaser. You step out of the lover, right? In terms like the romantic lover, and you just step into the father, right? But the father is he's tough and he's loving at the same time. He's strong, and he's gonna tell you when you're being wrong, but he's not gonna do it in a way that hurts you, because that's the problem that most fathers here in this world, they don't know. They're miseducated, and they instead, when they try to tell you to not do something, they end up hurting you, right? And so we do it in a way that builds our relationship and doesn't push the person away. So that's what I want to say. If you guys got something else to say, it's 10:45 and I've got to get going.
No, I think we can wrap it up here, man. I think that was a very, very powerful way to end. And yeah, this was an awesome discussion, guys. Thank you so much for, being so present and like tapping in. We do this every Sunday, so definitely tap in. We're always looking for new people to chime in with different ideas and things like that. So, who knows what the next topic will be, but we're going to surprise you.
There are so many aspects to this topic. You could go a lot of different directions.
For sure, for sure. So yeah, and if anyone has suggestions for topics too, we're down to, also do that. But yeah, guys, take it easy. Have an incredible rest of your day. May the flow be with you. May you never be the same again. Be the best. Fuck the rest. You already know. Let's get it.